lot of people don't realize it, but there was a gold rush in Minnesota. Back in 1865, gold was found in Lake Vermilion, and that sparked a short-lived gold rush, but a gold rush nonetheless. And guess where I am today? Lake Vermilion. Lake Vermilion. Lake Vermilion. So I'm going to try my luck as a prospector and see if I can find any gold up here today. Now you can see the lakeshore is just loaded with rocks, but I'm going to try to find a little bit of sand, some gold-sized sand. Let's see what we got. Now this material is kind of sandy, but it's kind of a lot of gravel on top of lake muck. Don't really see much for black sand. Well, let's pan it back. No way, our first pan and there's already gold. Right there are two little specks of Vermilion Lake gold. I honestly didn't expect to find any.
I never thought I'd get this far.
Well, let's take a few more pans. Gary. Whoa, look at all that gold. That looks pretty old. So what I've done here is I've classified just a few pans in a bucket. I'm going to speed pan that down and see how much I see. So we're down to our last little bit from that bucket, tossing it back, and I see 4 of the tiniest micro specks you've ever seen. Now, I know the gold that they find in these parts is really small, fine-grained gold. But I just think it's so cool that right off the bat I found some at Lake Vermilion. I'm not going to spend my day panning in the lake because I'm pretty sure people will get mad at me. I'm just doing it for the novelty of it. A couple pans, that's all I need. We're going to go on to some other spots though that maybe we can get some production going. Now Lake Vermilion is huge and I don't know where the gold was found to begin with, but the DNR has been doing some surveys and released some survey maps of gold around the area. So I'm going to go in that area and do some till sampling to see what we can find. We're going to take a detour and I'm going to show you something pretty cool. Enter this way. Now the gold rush was very short-lived. There were no profitable mines established, but what was profitable is when they came for iron. And this is banded iron formation. Now when you guys are classifying material all over Wisconsin and Minnesota, it's very common to find pieces of banded iron formation. And this is where it comes from, places like this. This is iron oxide banded with chert or jasper. This is actually a sedimentary rock. It's one of the most beautiful rock formations you'll ever see. You can even see it has a metallic luster, and those red bands can be bright, bright red jasper. These sediments precipitated out of ancient seas that were supersaturated with iron and silica. When they came in contact with oxygen, they precipitated into silica dioxide, and the iron precipitated into hematite or magnetite. And the reason the formation is all jumbled up like this is because the earth doesn't sit still. It moves, and so do the sediments, even after they're laid down. By the way, don't you dare touch this with a rock hammer. Now unfortunately around these parts, most of the rivers are like this. Basically just swamp drainage. But I'm gonna need some water for the next spot I'm going, so. So you can't always go where the rivers are flowing, but you can go where the rivers have been flowing. And places like this are places rivers were flowing. Now I believe this is an esker. Now an esker is a long sinuous, sinuous. It's a windy piece of land that was formed at the bottom of a glacier. What happens is when the glacier is sitting there, water will start flowing underneath the glacier and that will build up sediments. And right here we have a case where there's a lot of sand and gravel outwashed. Now it's possible that this laid down some deposits of gold in the area. Now the glacier picks up rocks from all over as it travels, but then this will classify it and concentrate some of those heavies, maybe. So let's sample this esker. So you can see it looks a lot like river gravels. Mixture of sand, cobbles. Look at all that oxidation there. Cool. It's quartz, and that means there's quartz here. Now you know why I needed the water. So now, I'm gonna dump my swamp water in a tote. I got a few pans worth of material screeded out, and we'll see if any gold is in it. Make sure it gets all wet. It's different pan and dry dirt. And just like regular river gravel, I'm seeing the black sand left behind. Woof, that water's dirty. Well, let's pan it back and see if there's gold. And I don't see any. I don't see any. Well, I don't see any gold here, so I guess we keep looking. And it's kind of hard looking at that riverbank there because I can't see how the river was flowing. I can't see like any low pressure zones. I kind of just see where the gravels are and where the sand are. And I would think that that would be a spot where there's sand and gravel divided or sand mixed in with gravel. That's usually a good place to look for gold, but it's not here. So we'll keep moving. Next spot. So here's a creek with some actual moving water that looks like a good spot to try. I actually just saw a game warden on the road before I came in and I said, hey, can I gold pan here? And he said I could. Some of you yell at me like, that's illegal. No, it's not. I can do it. The game warden just told me I could. Look at that. Beautiful chunk of banded iron formation.
You're very easily distracted, aren't you?
You know, I would have thought being right in the iron range that there would be just full of black sand, but there's really not much at all. Well, as nice as this little creek is, there's no gold here. So, on we go. Hi. Hello.
Hello.
Have you ever heard of anybody gold panning in these parts?
I know there was a guy a few years ago that
Really?
was monkeying around with it,
I
but
heard there was a gold rush years ago and I I'm out here panning the streams and stuff looking for gold. I haven't found much yet.
Yeah, I know he was over down, I don't know, somewhere this way. I don't know if it was just out of town or...
Yeah? I'll go look. So I'm not the only one. I just gotta head out that way. That's where I'm going. Now this is a county gravel pit, public land. There's a gate on it, but it's not locked, and there's no trespassing sign. I'm pretty sure I can come here and poke around.
Not to worry. I have a permit.
This just says I can do what I want.
So another gravel pit and another example of where a river once was. Let's test for gold. All kinds of different rocks here. Everything from iron formation to that looks like greenstone, kind of a volcanic altered rock. And then this one, big quartz vein. And that's what they think is somewhere hidden. They think there's lode gold deposits in quartz veining like this. That's why they find so much gold in the till. They just haven't found the source yet.
I need more water.
This water's so dirty, I need clean water. And yeah, there's one speck in that pan. It's tiny, but it's a speck. So there's one speck, so I'll take another pan and see if there's more. I actually don't think this is a river deposit. This is just till. Just gravelly till. There's a mix of all sizes. There's everything from clay to big cobbles and boulders. So there hasn't been sorting gone on. It's just gravelly till. Now when the DNR was counting specks, I believe that over 95% or maybe more was less than 100 microns, which is tiny. So the specks around here are incredibly small. That's down to the black sand, so I need to put some clean water on there though. Can't see a thing. It gets so dirty right away. Because these pieces are so small, I'm gonna have to really carefully pan this just to see them at all. So there's another tiny speck right there. But then if I look at the edge, like I'm really trying to be careful. Gosh, you can't even see it. This is really hard to show. But right there is a very small, it's almost like a film of dense yellowish material. And I'm like, is that possibly just micro gold? I don't think it could be. Could it be? Okay, another pan, another speck, but I think there's better spots and we got a lot of ground to cover today, so we'll move on.
Yes, water means so much that we have got to use it carefully. Don't waste water.
Water, 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 water.
Gonna have to get to another river too. This is filthy. So I'm not really sure how the DNR went about sampling the till, but kind of seems like, holy cow, look what I just found. I literally just looked down and this giant piece of quartz appeared. Wow, I don't even have a rock hammer with me. That could be loaded with gold. This could be the mother lode. Oh my gosh. Pieces of quartz like this are what cross-cut the greenstone around here, and that's what they believe is the source of the gold. The glaciers came and spread it around, but there's likely a lode gold deposit in quartz like that. That's what brought people to Lake Vermilion in the first place. They found gold in the quartz vein. There's very likely gold in that.
Ooh, look who knows so much, huh?
Anyway, I'm not sure how the DNR was testing the till. But it seems like I just have to dig a hole in the ground and grab some till. I'm gonna look around for an uprooted tree, because if you can find that, your work is kind of done for you. Or a badger mound or something like that. But otherwise, I'll just dig a hole. So here's kind of an uprooted tree, or it was a long time ago, so I'm gonna come dig here. More quartz veining. So looking at this piece of quartz right there, almost looks like something metallic. Well, that looks like a till sample to me. This is gonna be so dirty. Very light material. I'm not sure what the DNR constituted as a sample pan, how much was in the pan, but this is right in the heart of the zone, so I would think I'd be able to see something here in this sample. Not seeing any black sand. The water's so murky I can't really see anything. There's some there. So that's a small speck right there. It's another tiny speck right there. So I am finding specks in the till. Not as many as the DNR did, but again, I don't know how exactly they went about sampling. But it is really cool that you can come out here and kind of confirm what the DNR showed by finding specks of gold. Panning out here is really a pain because the water gets so dirty and thick. So what I think I'm going to do is, just for the fun of it, I'm going to take home a bucket full of till. And we'll pan it back there. Or maybe I'll take it and bring it to one of these flowing streams. Before I leave here though, I gotta take a piece of this quartz. Do I want to borrow your hammer? No thanks, I got my own. Remember kids, always wear safety glasses when you smash rocks, or squint like this. Whoop! 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 Really wanted to see if there was gold in there. Some mysteries aren't meant to be solved.
All right, then, keep your secrets.
I'm going to take some grab samples just to bring home, and I'm looking at the road cut, and that's like the easiest exposed till that I've seen. So I'll take some right here. I'm just taking a little sample. There does seem to be a slight textural difference in the tills that I'm finding, but I won't know if there's any gold difference until I bring it home. Here's an uprooted tree that I was looking for. Gives me nice access to the till without having to break through the soil horizon and all that good stuff. Snakes!
Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
Oh my gosh.
Very dangerous.
And here's a stalk of mullein. You know what mullei's good for? You clean it off like so. Make sure the outside is nice and smooth. It makes good spindles for making fires by hand. Now you know. I wonder if this is one of those DNR test holes. It this is their test hole, I'm gonna need a bigger shovel. There's some quartz right there. So here's another gravel pit, and you can see there's a lot of stratification in this soil, and there's a rock slide going on right now. Some trees fell down, and it seems like it must be pretty fresh because there's still stuff falling. Right up there is a gravel bar that's bounded on top by sand. So you can tell there was some stream beds flowing, and obviously something changed there, but that might be a great place to look for gold, so let's test that. Pretty clear boundary. Let's pause for a moment. Now, I've been taking a lot of samples. I got buckets full of dirt in my truck. I didn't really want to bring it all home. So I stopped at a river, and I'm going to use this water to pan it all down. No specks there. This till is really not very nice to pan at all. It ends up being like a bunch of little clay clumps. It's not really separating into individual grains, which is what I need it to do. This needs to be worked a little bit more, I guess. Now I'm panning this down, and in the black sand, when I get to the really fine last little bit, I see a yellowish matrix that kind of goes along with it. And I don't know if that's little pyrite grains or tiny microscopic specks of gold. I've never seen anything quite like that, but what I'm gonna do is snuffer it all up and then bring it home, see if I can identify it there. It's really hard to show in the camera, but there's some yellowish pieces, just tiny little pieces all throughout that black sand. Gold or pyrite? How do you tell? I'm gonna try something new here. This time I'm gonna take the bucket, I'm gonna submerge it. I'm just gonna swirl it. It's all dry, so as I swirl it, it'll start getting wet, and it's just this clumpy, mucky, sticky crap. But this might be a way to kind of sluice it out. And all that clay will float up and out of there. It's like a Jeff Williams trick. He built a sluice out of a bucket with a drill. It creates like a clay cap and just spins on top of it. Doesn't really want to mix too well. I feel like one of those cow farmers. A whole lot of material either just compressed or disappeared. Probably a little bit of both. That's basically the whole bucket down into one pan now. Just a little bit of unmixed dirt. That's the way to do it. Alright, so that's the last bucket. All my till samples are panned down, and I got this little snuffer of black sand. Let's take it home and take a closer look at it. Alright, let's dump our snufferings and take a closer look. Well, I really thought I was seeing some gold in the field, but after carefully and painstakingly panning this, these are all the specks I have. They're just microscopic, so hard to see. Makes me really curious as to what the DNR was doing and how they did their study of the gold, because I thought I was right in the heart of their field of study. I really thought I would be finding more than this, but this is so microscopic. My goodness. Well, I did the best I could. I followed the steps of the gold rushers. I looked and looked and looked, but I didn't find much. It's kind of what happened to them too. But as always, it's super fun to go look for it, even if our specks are microscopic. Thanks for coming along. Let me know what you think. Come on back next time. Bye-bye.